asking the question, is humility at work in you? Is humility at work in me? Am I humble? Are you humble? The first thing to remember is that humility, humbling ourselves, is a work that we need to do. God doesn't want to come and humble us because we understand that pride comes before the fall. And when God comes to humble us, it's because we're prideful, because pride is the opposite of being humble. So we don't want that. We want to humble ourselves. The Bible says, submit yourself, therefore, to the Lord. Resist the devil and he'll flee from you. The Bible says, humble yourself, therefore, under the mighty hands of God, and in due season, he will lift you up. So we can see in the life of Christ how Christ was lifted up as a result of his humility, and how Paul was encouraged as a result of his humility. So really, humility will help us to go further in our walk with the Lord and with God's people. So we've got to make sure that we do the humbling ourselves. The second thing I want to say is that your experiences with God is what's going to cause you and me to be humble. If we don't have experiences with God, it's going to be difficult for us to be humble. So in the book of Philippians chapter 2, where Paul begins to talk to the Philippian church, remember what he says. He says to them that if you have any encouragement for being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any fellowship with the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded. So if you have these experiences with God, then be like-minded. Then humility would easier come along and take its rightful place. But if you don't have experiences with God, it's hard for you to be humble, because the final thing I would say is that humility comes from knowing who you are, and that comes from having these experiences, and your relationship with God will help you to do that. The fact that people are not humble just means that they don't know who they are. It's not really that they're being proudful per se. Some are, but it's not that generally. It's because they don't know who they are. And if you don't know who you are, because you don't have experiences with God, it's going to be hard for you to humble yourself. So let's go on and have experiences with God through worship, through prayer, through reading his word, through fellowship with his people. Then we come to know who we are, because we're reading his word, is telling us about who we are. Then we can go forward and become humble, because humility is the key way to success.